Hey, you got Rich here with A-OK Product Reviews, and I still have about 4 more knives left on the haul I just got from Blade HQ. You want to check it out with me? Let's do it. Okay, so I have 4 more knives left. Gonna kind of spread them out a little bit. You know, I get all excited whenever I get a bunch of knives in, and I just want to talk about them all right away at the same time. No, I'm gonna take my time. You're gonna have to wait sometimes, I'm sorry. But I have to do that to you. It's called discipline. Okay, now, the knife I'm going to look at today. Well, let's just real quick. I added a lanyard to the Petrified Fish Loco. Guys, I still can't. Son of a bitch.
I need to be better prepared for my videos. I always start them off without my microphone on. Apologize. But we were talking about the Petrified Fish Loco. I can't get over how many times it just feels like this knife brand and these knives get overlooked by the general population of knife reviewers out there. I really think Petrified Fish makes they've got it figured out. I don't get it. You know what's next? Well, they need to use better micarta. This is G10. They need to use really good micarta. They need to get into titanium. They need to start using Magna Cut steel, and they could be selling knives for $400 or $500 like everybody else is trying to do. Why not? Money. But they don't. This is $39 or $32. I can't remember, but it's under $40. Look at this thing. It's big. It's got fantastic action. It's got D2 steel on it. You know, it's G10 scales, bearings. This is a great knife. Enough. Just makes me mad. You know, it's like we almost force these great budget knife companies with these great offerings. We almost force them into titanium, carbon fiber, Magna Cut, Crewwear, whatever, S90V. You know, we make them upgrade these materials into materials that we can't sharpen, we don't want to use because it's too nice, and then it's no longer a pocket knife, it's a shelf knife. It's a case knife. Not Case the brand, but Case stays in a case. Screw that. Get a Petrified Fish Loco. Moving on. Rant over on the Petrified Fish. Okay, so I've got an old favorite brand. You know, back when you didn't know anything about something, but you knew you liked something, so you found that one brand that's affiliated to something, and you make it the brand of all brands in your head. I did that with Boker early on in my knife world, my knife enthusiasm. I did it very early, and Boker got all my praise. I was like, well, is that a Boker? Well, I got a Boker. You see my Boker? Hey, that guy got a Boker? I bet that's not a Boker. Hey, have you heard of Boker? I got a Boker. Yeah, that was me. And I don't even know why. Well, I'll tell you why. Boker makes pretty good knives. They make really good knives, but then they also have a budget offering. Their budget offering is typically made in China or Taiwan, and it's the Boker Magnum Plus. Not my first automatic, I don't think, but my love for automatics came from a Boker Kalashnikov. Yeah, it's kind of strange, but hey, you know, it's like, yeah, you saw those stiletto autos, but the first time I really held on to a good auto that felt like a flipper, but was an auto, was a Boker Kalashnikov. You'll get some knife snobs. Oh, little Boker Klishnikov's crap. Yeah, I understand why you might say that. Then I don't, because I've not had a Boker Klishnikov fail, and I've owned many. I haven't had a Boker auto fail ever, and I've had Klishnikovs. I've got a alluvial behind me somewhere. I've got, really a strike. It never failed. So I don't get it. Why am I so mad today? I'm not really mad. I'm just like, I'm hitting home. But what I have here is my first Boker flipper knife that's not automatic that I've ever owned. I would like to get a Boker handcrafted slip joint knife at some point. They're a little pricey. And right now, in that market, you can get some really, really nice slip joint knives, traditional knives, at a very, very fair price that are incredible. Rosecraft blades, Rough Rider. I'm not going to go through them all, but those two are two of my favorites. Yeah, you can do all right. So I like how they're wrapped in paper whenever they're done by certain manufacturers. This is kind of a slip joint thing. Wrap it in like a wax paper. Now, I've already handled this knife, and this knife has a lanyard on it already. So that means I liked it. If I put a lanyard on a knife, I'm digging it. Check it out. Micarta. Denim Micarta on a button lock flipper. Boker Border Forest folder. It's a button lock. Micarta, it's got a little bit of texture to it. I like that. That's why I would have Micarta over G10 or anything else. Anodized aluminum, stainless steel, something smooth, titanium, carbon fiber. I like the Micarta because Micarta does offer a porous finish if it's not polished down too smooth. It's got the orange. I like my pops of orange. It's got the orange backspacer. Now, it's plastic. G10, FRN, whatever. But it's plastic. And I would have preferred a metal, like an orange anodized aluminum backspacer. That I like that better. And then I would have put a pivot, an orange pivot, maybe some orange hardware, and a black clip on this. So I'm telling you all the things I don't like, and all of it is just BS cosmetic stuff. You know what I mean? Now, that's a good looking blade. Is that my favorite blade? It's like a deep clip, I would call that, because you got like shallow clips, clip points. This one goes all the way back. It's a little bit of jimping right here, and then it's right here, and then you got the swedge right there. A little bit of billboarding on the blade, Boker Magnum. And then 440A is the steel. Do I love that steel? Do I understand why that steel is on this knife? I don't. Thinking they might as well have just used some of their D2 material, blade material, but they used 440A. So there's got to be some kind of reason. I might read up and find out and put it right here why they chose 440A versus, say, a more, I don't know. 440A is probably just fine. You got 440A, you got 440C, you got 420HC, you got blah, 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 blah. At some point, I'm learning now, and I think this is what's going to happen, is a knife de-evolution. A devolving of knife enthusiasts. So what I mean by that is we're going to start, now this button lock on this is strange. It's almost like it grips the blade. Normally it's just supposed to release it. So it's just, you want to release it, let it drop. So you want to push it, unpush it. Now, it's weird. The button lock's weird on this. I don't know if I like that. The lanyard's a pain in the butt on it too. I'm going to take the lanyard off, I think. Because when you go to flip open a button lock, you don't want your lanyard flying. So this isn't really a good lanyard knife. So you gotta learn everything every day. You gotta like toy with your stuff. It's got a flipper tab. I like that, so you don't need to use the button lock. But this button drop is strange. It's very, very selective. But let's get back to the de-evolution knives. You're going to have a lot of people out there that are like, I want the best knife. I want a great knife. I'm going to spend $100, $200, $300, $400 for this next knife that I really want because it's got this really great super steel they're talking about. Yeah, but you know what? It's just like buying a Porsche. You're like, look at that Porsche. It's got a 4-cylinder turbo, and that thing doesn't burn hardly any gas, and it can go 0 to 60 and blah, 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 and it's incredible. But then when you got to change the oil or the tires or fix it or change a belt or a fan or a motor or something on that Porsche, you are screwed. Same thing's happening with these super knives, with the super materials and the super steels on them. Next thing you know, you've got a knife that's got, say you ran it through the mill, and that thing has got all kinds of gnarls on it, and you got to get it sharpened or fixed or re-edged. You can't do that yourself, maybe. Most people can't. Say you just need it stropped. I don't know anybody has a strop other than maybe a couple people on the knife channels. Just a strop. And they don't even understand that that's all you got to do. You don't even need to run your knife over a stone half the time. You just got to run it across a piece of leather like, I don't know, like that barber serial killer movie. I don't know. Yeah, you just run it across a strop and it'll deburr the knife and it's sharp again. Sometimes that's all you got to do. But now we got all these guys out there. You got Reggie, you got Tom, you got Felix, you got Frankie, you got Bill, you got Tom, you got all these guys out there. And you got Carol, Sue, and Connie. And they're all out there and they're carrying this fancy knife that's got all this fancy materials. It's got titanium that came off the spacecraft, kind of scales on it. It's got bearings that you find on a sport car, an Indy 500 sport car. And then it's got this blade steel material that's came from some other planet. It's like Mars stone, rock, steel material. Yeah, now you got this really crazy thing, right? But everything can be damaged. There's nothing that's impermeable or indestructible. Now you got your steel and it's not even sharp. Now you got this fancy Mars moon rock knife and it's got a bad edge and you got to sharpen it. And what do? You got to go out and buy a $300-$400 knife sharpening device or stones, diamond stones, or whatever the hell all that stuff is, just to get your blade back. Or you got to send it off to somebody. You got to pay shipping, which is going to be, say, $20, there, $20 back. There, you're $40 in. You got to pay some guy for his time who does have that tool, who does have that stone, who does have those materials to sharpen and the skills and the experience set to do that, which isn't going to be cheap, and it's going to be $100-some. And now you're $140, $200 into just getting your blade sharpened again, and then you take it back out, you drop it on a rock, and it breaks. Or you damage the blade again, you got to send it back to that guy again for another $200. Now you got $400, $500, $600 tied up in just sharpening the blade twice. See what I mean? Or you could just buy a 440A Magnum Boker Plus Forrest Gump button lock with 440A that you run across a rock that's in your backyard, and next thing you know, the damn thing's sharp. If you got a leather coat, just run it up and down your sleeve on your leather coat, and you just stropped your blade. And next thing you know, you just sharpened your knife with your leather coat. Fonzie. Yeah. Now, I'd rather be Fonzie than some moron with a $1,000 Mars moon-landed blade steel fancy BS knife. I'm all fired up today, guys. That's what you're going to get. Okay, this knife is not perfect. I'm going to tell you that right now. The button lock is wonky. I don't get it. It's like a control grip button lock, which might be good, might not be. Plus, it just needs a little wear and tear, maybe a little oil her up. Get the lanyard off of here, because that makes no sense on this knife. Can't put a lanyard on every knife. But you know, I got to be honest with you. It's almost like Boker's copying their knife off of like Tactical Gears. It has a very Tactical Gears feel. I have a tactical gears I just came across and found in one of my packs. Look at that. Look, you got the orange tail spacer things. You got kind of like the same little bit of style to them. Now, this isn't a button lock. This is just a flipper. Great action on this tactical gears. Tactical gears has D2 steel, which is better than 440A, I think. I don't know. It's got the orange plastic tailpiece. It sticks out a little bit better for a lanyard. This knife should have this lanyard on it. Liner lock on this one, though, which I thought I liked button locks better than liner locks, but I don't like this button lock very well. So this knife right here is about $39 on Blade HQ right now. Now, if you don't have a Boker folder or a button lock, I mean, getting a button lock at that price range, you know, micarta, you know, it's on bearings. I guess if you get used to this button lock, it's awesome. I can see how once you learn the control of it, you got to really play with your knives. The blade shape on this is pretty good. I like it. This has like a weird compound grind tanto on this tactical gears, but I'm getting a very tactical gears vibe out of this knife, and that's not bad. Tactical gears, they make really good knives, but this is Boker. Boker's been around for a long time. It's Boker. Did I tell you? I got a Boker. Yeah, here it is. My first button lock folder Boker with micarta, 440A steel, a flipper, button lock, bearings on the pivot, reversible pocket clip from left to right, nice little orange lanyard back spacer thing. Taking the lanyard off of this dog. Centered up really nice. It's a good knife. It's a great knife. I don't know if it's great, but it's a good little knife. Gotta get used to that button lock though. That's weird.